What's up, guys? I haven't come to you from my garage in a while, but there's something that's just been kind of on my mind that came out in the news yesterday, so I just want to talk about it real quick. So if you haven't heard, Sony Interactive Entertainment laid off 900 employees yesterday. That equates to roughly 8% of their workforce, they said. Now, this is particularly concerning because beyond just the multiple studios that were affected and the number of canceled games and projects, really at the end of the day, it's all of these people's livelihoods that have been kind of uprooted and negatively impacted in such a way that like their families are going to suffer too. And look, layoffs are part of business. I'm in the corporate world, so I get it. But I feel like the video game industry is just seeing a disproportionate amount of layoffs lately. So, for example, according to various reports, there anywhere between the range of 6,500 and 9,000 video game employees were laid off in 2023. And even before yesterday, due to some of the layoffs that had occurred just in January and the first couple of weeks of February, we are already on pace to wipe that number out in 2024. And I know the question is like, how did we get here? Obviously, when COVID first happened and the pandemic happened, it kind of made sense that layoffs would occur or furloughs would occur because that was kind of what everyone was doing. But now there's a lot of acquisition going on. Microsoft laid off 1,900 employees after they acquired Activision Blizzard. And what I think is actually happening is all of these conglomerates are getting more and more mergers happening and acquisitions. And then in order to justify and validate the cost of those mergers and acquisitions, you're going to have to let some people go, or there become some positions that become redundant, right? And so like that makes sense. But a lot of these roles that are getting layoffs for our quality assurance, a lot of them, which we've seen over the last year, a number of games that were released that were really buggy or had a lot of issues or just weren't good. And I think it's interesting that quality assurance is what's getting cut when even some of the big budget games that get released don't seem finished when released. I think another thing that's negatively impacting everything is the emergence of AI. And not to say that AI is bad or anything, but there are people who think, and I think rightfully so, that a lot of the work that has been accomplished by a lot of people are trying to be supplemented by these bigger companies by utilizing AI where they can, which AI cannot replace a human. Really, at the end of the day, like it might be able to do it in terms of the overall holistic presentation, but that human element that really allows us to connect with things at our core, it doesn't remain, I think. And so I really hope that we're not moving to an AI primary state of video game development. I think that would be detrimental to the industry. And this industry that boasts about like having all of this revenue and look how much we're flourishing, and yet at the same time we're turning around and laying off thousands of people each year. I don't know, maybe I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, but I really don't think I am. And I don't know why yesterday's announcement from Sony felt so particularly provoking on this matter. But then I was able to identify why. So you'll notice here that Jim Ryan, the CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, went to the London studio just a few days ago to celebrate his impending retirement with a group of people that they laid off and a studio they are shutting down as of yesterday. Something about that feels so sleazy. Something about that feels so incredibly disconnected from your people and inhuman. And I think what I'm starting to really identify is the people who are in positions of power to make these decisions. When you have people, you're overworking. We've heard about all of these different reports coming out about just really bad working conditions and negative working conditions, and all of these different studios for years now. This is a great example of a person who's supposed to be able to make those situations better for the people, and they're really dropping the ball. And I don't care if you're retiring, like, good for you. This could have been part of the board of directors decision and you weren't involved. At the same time, you were involved because you made the announcement. And then on top of all of that, it's the optics, man. Like, if you knew that this was going to happen, you should have done your farewell party somewhere else. So be good people, guys. Just like take care of people. There's probably a lot of people hurting in a lot of different places, not just the video game industry, just in a lot of environments right now. And not just because of work, just a lot of things with mental health and a lot of things going on in the world. And so just if you see somebody struggling, try to do your best to lift them up, love on them. And for these people, if you're watching, if you're a video game developer who got laid off, I'm really sorry. I hope you land on your feet. We're here to support you. Go make the next great indie game. We will all buy it, I promise. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you. See you soon.